I was already halfway out the door when he said it. Family doesn't charge family. The sentence hung in the air like a threat, not a principle. My father-in-law leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, smug. My wife stood beside him, silent. Then she nodded. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not snapped, not broken, just recalibrated. Because they weren't asking, they were deciding. 3 years earlier, he called me son with a kind of pride that felt earned. I had built their pergola, that summer custom cedar. Hand-finished, perfect joints. He bragged about it to neighbors like it was his own craftsmanship. Back then, I didn't mind. I was still trying to belong. And my wife she used to squeeze my hand under the table when he praised me. Small gestures, quiet support, or so I thought. Looking back, I realized she never corrected him when he minimized my work. Never mentioned what I charged others. Never reminded him that skill has a price. I was useful. That was enough. The deck was supposed to be my biggest private project that year. Multi-level, reinforced foundation, custom railing system, $22,000 in labor and materials discounted already. I showed him the plans. He didn't even look at the breakdown. You'll do it, he said. We're family. I laughed at first, thought it was a joke. Then I looked at my wife. She didn't laugh. We can't charge my dad, she said, like it was obvious, like it had already been agreed upon. That's when I knew. This wasn't a conversation. It was a quiet alliance, and I wasn't part of it. I said no. Calm, simple, final. The silence that followed wasn't shock. It was disappointment, as if I'd failed a test I didn't know I was taking. My father-in-law's smile disappeared. My wife's expression hardened. You're really going to nickel and dime family? She asked. No. I was going to draw a line, but I didn't say that. I just walked out. They hired someone else within a week. I didn't ask who. I didn't need to. Because people like him don't look for quality when they feel entitled. They look for validation. Someone cheap enough to agree. I heard things though. Bits and pieces. A guy with great rates. Quick turnaround. Cash deal. I kept my distance. But I watched. I drove by once. Casually. Slowed just enough. The posts weren't anchored properly. The spacing was off. Load distribution non-existent. It looked fine from a distance. That's the trick. Up close, it was a collapse waiting for gravity to notice. I said nothing, because this wasn't about warning them. It was about letting them learn. The first crack came 3 months later. Literally. A support beam shifted after a heavy rain. Slight tilt. Hairline fractures along the joints. He called me. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Tried to sound casual. Hey, just wanted your opinion on something. I deleted it. Then came the real damage. One evening, during a small gathering, part of the upper section gave way. No one seriously hurt, just bruises, panic, embarrassment. But the deck was done. Unsafe, unusable, and suddenly, very expensive. This time, he didn't call. My wife did. Her voice was softer. Careful. They need help. I let the silence stretch long enough to make her uncomfortable. They need a contractor, I said. I'm sure they can find one. They trust you. I almost laughed. They didn't trust me when it mattered. 2 weeks later, I got a call from a third party. An inspector. He needed an evaluation from a licensed builder. Professional request. No emotion. I agreed, because now, it was business. When I walked onto that deck again, it felt different. Not because it was broken, because I was no longer trying to belong to it. I took my time, measured everything, documented every flaw, every shortcut, every violation. I wrote the report like a surgeon describing a failed operation. Precise, unforgiving. Total repair estimate, $31,000. The meeting was quiet. My father-in-law sat at the table, staring at the report like it had personally betrayed him. My wife avoided my eyes. You're saying this is the only way? He asked. I nodded. And you'll do it. There it was. Not an apology, not even acknowledgement, just expectation. I leaned back. I will, I said, at full rate. The room tightened. That's outrageous, he snapped. No, I replied. What's outrageous is expecting free work, hiring someone unqualified, and ending up here. My wife finally looked at me. There was something new in her expression. Not anger, understanding. Too late. He paid. Every cent. No negotiation this time. No talk about family. Just a contract. Signed. I rebuilt the deck better than the original. Design, stronger. Flawless. Something that would last. Because my work always does. But I didn't stay for the celebration when it was finished. Didn't wait for thanks. I handed over the final invoice, collected payment, and walked away. That night, my wife asked if we were okay. I told her the truth. We're different now. Because betrayal doesn't always end things. Sometimes it just reveals them. I didn't lose anything in the end. I gained clarity, and they learned something far more expensive than any deck. Respect has a cost. And this time, they paid it.